The scene is set at the Lord and the Lady Motel, as after the revelations of last night, Mortimer turns in fitful sleep. As the sun finally passes below the horizon and a new night begins, he becomes roused from his slumber. And, seeing as he'd succeeded, he awakens and sees that the world and the city is still here, and that he did not perish like he originally thought. If the creature that lies beneath this island has in fact awakened, then whatever it is doing right now, it is being very quiet. So, as he tidies his hair and gets ready for the night, he takes a deep sigh and wonders what exactly he can do. And since no ideas come straight to his head, the next best option comes to his mind. What the hell can he do to relieve stress? And to that end, one idea pops immediately into his head. He goes outside into the night and hails a cab. And after a brief drive down the busy New Sarum streets, as the night progresses as though there was no ancient being awakening, he arrives at the Looking Glass Cabaret, and after asking for a table in the VIP room, he begins to ponder again exactly what can be done to counteract the old one's awakening. And that is where the rest will find him during this scene. Who is the first to arrive?
A short moment later, Duncan will be strolling into the VIP area, mostly to see if anyone's there. He's really just wandering about, and he spots Mortimer, and without a word, he just walks towards the sitting area he's in and sits down in front of him. Well, not who I expected to find, but nonetheless someone I've been looking for. Nice to see you again.
You can tell that since you did not announce your presence, Mortimer sort of has a start, but as he looks up, he sort of sighs in relief and says, "Oh, good evening, Duncan. It's a pleasure to see you again," as he sort of starts picking up all of the papers that he had been writing. Would you like to make a perception check?
Oh, yes, I would. I would very much like that. But I forgot what my perception was.
Oh, I think it would be perception plus.
Oh yeah, I
awareness?
just forgot what my character is. So
right,
I have to look it up. Just a sec. Oh. 2 successes.
In that case, with 3 successes, you can briefly see that it appears to be a letter, the same letter that several times has been crossed out, referring to some sort of archaeological dig and some sort of tapestry.
Oh, he'll kind of lean back a slight bit. He's been sitting leaned forwards towards the other man, and he'll lean back, still having problems with the sleeping. He asks somewhat nonchalantly,
Yes? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that was the question. He says, same old, as he hurriedly begins to put away the letters that he has been writing into his pack, which he has sort of set down by the edge of his chair. How have you been doing these following nights, Duncan? It has been quite some time since we last chatted.
well, you know, so-and-so, still getting a bit climatized, starting to see how to do things, thinking. Had a bit of a talk with Sir Thaddeus about the economical standings of the city.
Mortimer looks inquisitive at that. He says, Mr. Thaddeus, I do not believe I've met him. Is he another Toreador?
No, he's not. I believe that... Well, I'm actually not sure of his clan, though I believe he is... And I recognized a talent within the financial. Thought I'd inquire.
Oh, I'm sorry, as he shakes his head. I'm not sure if I entirely caught all of that. You can audibly notice that his mind is very troubled by something, and he probably only heard like about 2/3 of what you were saying.
I am going to roll charisma and empathy. That seems to be the right thing. No successes. So he's not sounding extremely empathetic. Well, what's the problem? You seem a bit off tonight.
Mortimer ponders for a second about what he should say next. He still remembers the message that he got from the prince after he alerted the Harpies and his sire about the events going on at the asylum, and how the prince had assured them that situation were being taken care of. He thinks for a moment if alerting his fellows would cause an undue panic, or whether blissful ignorance is best for this. And he sighs as he ends up deciding that the truth would be more important, or this could very well be their last night. As he says, "Oh, terrible things, my friend," as he takes off his glasses and puts them down. Actually, it'd be like this. Are you familiar with the events going on at the asylum?
No, I'm not. I've heard stories, I've heard different things. Some say that the prince has it under control, others say that it's a running madhouse, but what is going on down there I have no clue about. Can't say I particularly care, but...
There is a possibility that a very old, very powerful elder vampire may be waking from torpor beneath the asylum. A very old vampire.
And what exactly would that mean?
As he sighs and thinks about it for a minute and then says, "Have you ever heard of a Methuselah before?"
Well, once or twice. They're old, somewhat creepy beings, but I don't know. It's stories and rumors, you know?
Well, I wish that they were just stories and rumors, but they are real. They are possibly the second oldest vampires in the world. Creatures that have been alive for so long and so changed by the curse that they are barely recognizable as humans anymore. These creatures are things that legends, folklore, and even myth have been written about.
Well, so not so different from us, I take it.
Well, if not so different as in some of them are so old that they can only be roused through feeding on other kindred, then yes, I suppose they aren't that different at all. He says you can just tell he's He's just exhausted. Mortimer is stressed, more stressed than you have ever seen him so far.
Wow. What are they going to do about it then? Is
The
there
prince.
any plans? Any ideas of what we're going to do? How we're going to deal with this thing?
The prince is aware of the situation, and as Mortimer is about to go on,
You can actually, just as you say, the prince has been, informed of the situation. You can hear a big sigh from a few tables away, like in another booth. And basically, you may roll a wits plus alertness.
ooh, all right.
Wits awareness. Difficulty 7.
Let me look
Are you sure you don't? Do you mean awareness or alertness now? Are we talking about supernatural things?
Awareness.
Okay, then I'll just roll my wits, in
So
which
I got
I will
5.
fail.
Here we go. Rolling. Alas. You say difficulty 5?
7.
7? Nope. I failed too. So I suppose we'll take a moment and just sort of look around and not see anyone there.
No. Basically, you look around and you see Javier sitting like a good 5 feet, 5 meters away from you in a shadowy part of the VIP area.
So Mortimer will jump again. He's like, oh, Javier, when did you come in?
Hey, yo, hombre, I was here before you came in, Joe.
Really?
Yeah, I was just sitting around, waiting for something to happen, Joe.
Oh, well, how rude of me.
No. I was just sitting around, walking, being a douchebag, not really wanting to be seen. I just hold my breath and, not talking and shit like that.
Duncan, however, won't jump as much as he'll just slightly shift his gaze over to Javier. Oh. So, you hear about the asylum as well?
Nah. I'm just
Don't.
sitting here, having a boring night,
Well, boring is what you make it. Well, you know how it goes.
Yeah, basically, smoking weed and watching Adventure Time ain't so fucking funny all the fucking time, yo. But now, the prince having a grasp on the situation, you say, yo?
Yes.
That's what I've heard. But again,
Yes,
don't really know or care enough to investigate.
The prince is aware of the situation and taking precautions as we speak.
Yeah, I've been to the asylum 2 or maybe three times, something like that.
You have?
Funny place. Yeah, I was the first guys who went there.
Mortimer's gonna check and try to see if you're lying.
It's not.
So no need for a roll.
No.
You can roll, and if you botch it, you think he lies.
Well, that sounds fun. This would be wits plus empathy or perception plus empathy?
Perception, empathy.
Alright, let me check my perception real fast. Perception. So that's 4. I hope I don't botch. Oh. Yeah. Difficulty 7, right?
Yeah, no, difficulty 6. You're not rolling against anything.
Oh, well, in that case, he says, really? Could you tell me anything about it? Did you notice anything strange there?
Well, there was this sensing impending of doom outside. There was the calm inside. There was Malkavians going around. Dr. Morgans or Smorgasbord or whatever his fucking name is, something Swedish, I think.
Mogans.
Going around dominating people.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
think that somebody would actually try to rouse one of these old ones from its slumber. That's insane.
Yeah, La Sombra, Sabbath, something ghouls going around, unicorn shitting fucking rainbows, all that kind
What?
of shit. Ah, no, it was some like tattoo of, it's not a unicorn, it's a Pegasus, but there was this ghoul who had like this tattoo, and it was like a Sabbath ghoul, or something X Sabbath ghoul or something like that. Basically, it's like connected to Apollo of whatever his fucking name is, yo.
Oh, as Mortimer will recognize what he was talking about from what Chloe Brothers told him several videos ago about the sons of Zeus. As he goes, I've heard about that before. Did you notice any other iconography?
Well, fuck, it's a mental asylum. I didn't like. I heard this. I heard there might be like stuff beneath it or something like that, but I mean, I didn't go check that shit out.
If only I was able to know more, then maybe there's something. There's got to be something that we can do to help out this situation.
And almost on cue, the door to the is it a cabaret?
Yeah, it would be the cabaret.
The door to the cabaret swings open. In steps a very square-jawed, all-American-looking boy. He scans the room and immediately kind of pulls his tie up. And so I've been looking around this town for some guy named Mortimer.
As Mortimer will raise his eyebrows at that and says, "Oh, hello."
You do like them young.
As I just sort of glare at him. It is a nice little...
Morty, it's cool, yo, but pedophilia ain't so cool.
As he slowly turns that gaze to Javier now, just be like, that's not what this is for. As Mortimer will stand up and go, I'm Mortimer Fitzgerald. How can I help you, sir?
You see Joshua looks around the room again and goes, boy, any more lively and a funeral might just break out. Well, fellas, my name's Joshua. I just got into the city, and I'm Toreador. I was sent here to find the primogen of the Toreador in the city.
Oh, you're looking for Mr. Crowley, then, as Mortimer will quickly scan around and see that Calliope's ghouls are the only humans present in this scene. As...
Whoops.
No, it's fine. It happens all the time on opening scenes. As he'll say, Mortimer Fitzgerald, Harpy of the Clan Toreador. I'm afraid Mr. Crowley is not in at the moment, but worry not. He is a very reclusive member of the family.
Well, since I'm new to the city, I figure I might as well introduce myself.
Oh, you are? Well, you came at a very interesting time. As he'll sort of quickly look to Duncan and Javier with a sort of ex-nay on the Methuselah expression.
Duncan will kind of lean forward. Well then, since you're in this city, you must be a man of excitement. Apparently you don't go here unless you're stupid or like to be in danger. So I figured.
Oh, he jests. Although the city has a very high rate of strange occurrences. That is what originally drew me to the city. But enough of that. Come, sit down. Would you like a drink?
Joshua's going to nod politely and sit into the nearest seat available. Yes, actually, take anything you got to offer, and hey, interesting's a good thing. I'm always around for a good story.
Oh, I think we're going to get along quite nicely, as he'll try and imitate the sort of snap that Juan Carlos did to get the attention of one of Calliope's ghouls, and then say, some of Stanhope's brew, and that ghoul head off and then come back with a bottle of the Vitae and present it to Mr. Smith.
Javier can lean in as the bottle is presented and whispers to like Joshua, "That shit is not good. Don't drink it."
Here you are.
The second the interesting gentleman tells him that it's not good, Joshua's going to swirl the glass a little bit and stare into it and kind of look around the city and go, yeah, I think I'm going to get just right along here.
That's Javier. He's the black sheep of the family, I believe. I'm Duncan, and he'll hold out his hand towards the newcomer.
Joshua takes it, and with a nice firm grip and 2 well-aimed pumps of the arm, kind of nods them, and, well, good to meet you. So, I'm kind of wondering, this city's nothing like I've ever seen before. I came in here a real nice jalopy.
Well, what do you mean? It's pretty
an
much
eyebrow will
like...
be raised at the terminology there.
Well, maybe I should explain. I've kind of been out of commission for a while, so I'm not too familiar with a lot of things around here. People are looking at little boxes and their faces all lit up, and they're talking about tweeting things. I don't know.
I say, where do you hail from?
Well, originally I'm from Denver, but right around the time the Great War happened, I enlisted.
War?
You know, the war.
Which one?
He's talking about the Second World War.
Oh yeah.
No, there was a second one?
As that sort of floors Mortimer for a second. And be like, apparently not. Yes, there was a second Great War. My goodness.
Well, he'll kind of grip inside his jacket and twirl his phone around. Do you mean one of these things?
Yeah, that's one of them. What the hell are they? All the telephone.
Yeah, it's a phone.
My goodness.
And a computer and other things. It's complicated.
I must ask, Mr. Smith, how long exactly have you been out of commission?
Let's see. I think it was about August 1916 or so.
You realize that's about 100 years ago.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware now.
As Mortimer's eyes are now wide as saucers, as he says, my word.
Wait. We sure this guy not be like some fucking Malkavian thinking he's like 100 years old?
There's only one way to find out. I do apologize. What's your passion, Mr. Smith?
Oh, I'm an author. I started writing stories before I went off to the war.
I'm an author too.
Oh God.
Well, I first started writing just crime novels, things of something you could buy in a dime store. Then when I got over to the war, I started writing I guess you'd call it my diary of how things were. I thought I was going to die, so I figured best thing I could probably do is leave some sort of record that I was even here before.
Wow. As he starts to become spellbound by the story, do go on.
Well, so
actually, I'm going to roll wits for a quick second.
Yes, you better before you have a repeat of what happened.
I am now also going to roll a charisma and etiquette because I'm going to try to interrupt you very nicely without pissing anyone off. There we go. Well, that's 2 successes, so not too bad.
Thank goodness you are no longer a parrot.
Mr. Schmidt, at a point, I'm sure hearing your story would fit quite nicely, though I am afraid we might experience some trouble in translation, at least Mortimer might.
What? Sorry, you must forgive me.
Yeah.
Stories of wonder and of impossibility are my particular passion. That's, after all, why I came to New Sarum. You must forgive me. But it's so nice to see another advocate of the craft.
Well, yeah, I think words have a way of having power over just about everything.
Yes, exactly. And the more you understand the motives behind why people take action and what they accomplish, it's one of the few ways to glimpse the soul of man itself.
Why use written words, though?
Oh, you don't
Spoken
have...
words are just as effective.
Oh, I agree entirely, Mr. Abrahams.
Kind of look at Mr. Abrahams and say, well, the thing about the written word is, well, the written word will go on into the future. You know what I mean? After you and me and just about everybody else hears dust, it'll still exist.
Can I make a slight point? When you wrote something 100 years ago, do you think it's still around?
Actually, I'm a little bit vain, so I did do a little research into that. I started asking at one of the local libraries. Turns out my book is used in some colleges. It's something that professors who are looking into the First World War use to kind of place and date things.
Congratulations! Now, what about your spoken word? Is that still around?
You know? I don't rightly know.
Well, my ears tells me that your spoken word is still around, as well. You're obviously speaking to us right now, so they seem to have a similar expiration date.
Well, yeah, I guess things have changed a little bit since when I first started writing.
That's an understatement.
As Mortimer has been sort of fiddling around on his phone right now, he's actually sent a text message to the prince using the Harpy network, saying that there is a new kindred in town. As he says, you must introduce yourself to our prince.
Yeah, that was probably the first thing I was going to do, but honestly, I don't know my left from right in this place yet.
Well, the prince is, as he sort of loses his words at this point, preoccupied at the moment with some recent events of the city, and I think he's indisposed of right now.
What prince isn't busy?
Yes. Just so you'll know, though, the prince of this city is John Stanshope of the noble Clan Ventrue.
Also known as Skimpy.
Javier.
You might not want to call him that to his face.
The
Yes,
second you mention that he's a Ventrue, you see Joshua kind of pulls out his tie. Oh, yeah? That's mighty interesting.
Mortimer will try and roll a, would it be wits plus empathy to see if he can tell
Perception.
perception?
You're perceiving something, and I'll roll that with you.
That'll be 4 for me then. Oh, rats.
I'll kind of notice.
I don't.
So Peter would kind of notice that Joshua is a mite bit uncomfortable with the fact that he's a Ventrue.
Oh, well. They tend to be in most of the world for some reason, or at least that's what I've heard. Can't say that I've been everywhere, but...
Yeah, well, let's just say that last time I talked to a Ventrue was not a very comfortable experience.
Oh, how so?
Well, No, please continue, Miss.
Well, when I woke from being in torpor, I was confused, I was hungry, and well, I'm kind of ashamed to admit it, but I did some things I probably shouldn't have. Which got me pulled before the Prince of Verdun. He was a Ventrue, not too happy with my actions, and wanted me to be destroyed. But the Primogen of the Toreador there spoke on my behalf, and instead he exiled me here.
Oh.
Huh, so apparently it's a punishment to go here now. This sounds like a fun city.
It is a unique.
No disrespect.
No,
not
don't
to-
worry. I've not been in town long myself. Now, how come you were exiled for, well, I assume you mean you had a bit of a drink.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
I have heard tales about what happens after you freshly awaken from torpor. It's an understandable mistake to happen.
But as long as you clean up after yourself, it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, think too about the difference. I mean, who knows exactly who or what awoke him from his torpor?
Well, that's a good point.
It was actually a couple of construction workers. I was buried underneath the parking lot.
Ah,
Got a couple of construction workers in there. Not. You know, I can see how it would be sad and probably not the best thing to do, but exiling you seems a bit harsh.
if I was to make an observation, says Mortimer, perhaps the prince had a vested interest in those construction workers, much like a lot of the Ventru like to get involved in kind institutions. Perhaps he was banished due to the destruction of property of the prince rather than any masquerade breaches.
Perhaps.
Oh, he didn't
That-
like his pretty face.
Oh no, continue, Javier.
Oh no, or he didn't like his pretty face.
The Ventru are peculiar, but that's what makes them such interesting folk to be
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, you just look at Gimpio.
You really gotta watch that you call the prince that, Javier.
I would call it to his face, but,
Well, you're around good company here, but remember, I am the harpy now.
Something tells me he, how would he put it, doesn't give much of a flying than words one should not say in proper company.
That is true.
Wow.
now, wait, so, now, I ain't no fucking history buff and like that, like fucking Morty here, but, basically you were, fighting Hitler and shit like that?
No. Hitler was
But
the
that was
Second
the other
World War.
war. He was just fighting the Germans, plain and simple.
Yeah, we're trying to stop the Kaiser.
Yeah.
It's a Kaiser.
Yeah.
Kaiser Wilhelm II, to be precise. World War I was a great tragedy on the world. It changed the entire face of the world.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing. When you've been gassed with German gas, you don't really much have any love left for him.
That seems to be the general feeling amongst those who have been targeted by
Better
Germany.
if you've ever tasted sauerkraut, but hey.
Duncan. Sauerkraut isn't that bad. Have you ever tried it on bratwurst? Or have you ever tried it on Polish sausage? It's delicious. Oh, dang it, now I miss being human again. Thanks a lot, Duncan. Thanks a lot, you jerk.
I apologize.
So, basically, it weren't Hitler in, the First War, but it was in the Second War. So was it the Jews, and shit like that in the first one, too?
Kind of look at him confused. And, wait, what do you mean killing Jews?
Oh yeah, that was.
No. That.
We'll talk about that. It's complicated.
Let's just say that the events that transpired after the Great War led to an inevitable Second World War, and that Germany's defeat and treatment sort of had compact interest against an entire generation, possibly being as bloody, if not more so, than the first.
I don't want to sound like a crazy person here, but I'm starting to think this whole idea of this, from what my side was telling me about this whole Gehenna thing, I think that's all just a bunch of rubbish. I think we're just going to be killed by all the mortals. I think they've lost their sense and they're going to end up burning the whole world up.
Oh, it's been a while since they've had since we've had a had a war like that. It's after the second one they kind of I think it was decided not to do that a third time. I think that's
like with like bombing and like shit like that, bombing fucking what was it, the Japanese?
Yes, it's our forces acquired the closest thing to the fire of the gods the world has ever seen, and after that, the war changed again, and it became even more impersonal and inhuman.
yes. Well,
So
essentially a lot of messes happened, and a couple of cities got destroyed. We'll get you up to date on a later point.
Josh was just gonna nod and look kind of perturbed at what he's hearing.
Now, soldier boy, what are you going to do in town?
I was hoping maybe I could maybe start off putting up my writing career. Got me through before. Maybe I could make myself a little bit of money that way.
that is an excellent idea. If you need any help, I know of a publisher who I've gotten in contact with. They might be able to help you too.
Well,
That mighty kind of you.
Here you go, as he'll hand you his business card. It'll say Mortimer C. Fitzgerald, and then have his phone number, but also have a watermarked spider on the card as well.
Mortimer, I realize you might not think of it this way, but I'm pretty sure he'll need some new papers. I think his might be slightly expired.
That is an excellent point.
You're no longer a person, you're dead, for obvious reasons.
Well, yeah.
When one goes to a war and one comes back, and one does not come back, one is assumed dead, or at least so I think. In any case, it would be weird to have, you pop up now 100 years later, so we might need to get that fixed before you start with publishing things.
And I think I might have a guy for that too. Let me use my contacts in the Harpies and see if I cannot find you somebody who can get you some new papers.
Well, mighty obliged, gentlemen. The only thing I regret is before I went off to the war, I put all my worldly money into a savings account in Denver. I don't think I'm going to be getting hold of that anytime soon.
As he sort of looks to the other people with eyebrows raised. This is the moment if this were a cartoon that the eyes would spin and then cash signs would appear.
Well, I think I might be able to help you there.
No.
That's
Have you have heard of the word compound interest before, Mr. Smith?
Yes. As I said,
well,
I think we might be able to help him there.
No,
I'm assuming for a nominal fee, of course.
No. Wouldn't that like go to his fucking children? You had children?
No, actually, before I left to the war, I had a gal I was pretty wild about. But no, we'll wait until I got back to get married.
I think that you should definitely check on that account after you get some new papers, of course. Maybe a lost descendant who would be able to reclaim it.
No, but it would go to the next of kin, yo.
I think he's probably right.
Rats. That would be quite a lot of money going your way.
That it would.
No harm in trying.
Yeah, no harm in trying.
Look up on it. Maybe there's a bit of I'm going to roll intelligence and finances because now I'm going to start scheming. That's another 5. Oof. He's not going to think anything. He's just going to blank out. He's overcome by greed.
Suffice to say, I think I might know of a guy for that too.
Oh,
well, thank you very much, Mr. Mortimer.
It's my job.
Yeah. Selling like the first guy that gets here entirely into the Camarilla paws.
Well, it never hurts.
Yeah, you know, because you can't do a guy a favor without asking several fucking boons for it.
No favors have been asked so far. I think that Mr. Smith will make an excellent addition to our noble clan.
At this point, Mr. Smith's actually going to turn to Javier and say, "So, I don't mean no offense, buddy, but I've been listening to the way you talk. Is that an accent I don't know about? You somewhere, maybe like south, like Mexico or something?"
Yeah, yeah. I'm from Mexico, you know, but basically I'm from LA. But you know, recently we kind of picked up the shit about like not talking like regular peeps.
Excuse me, what?
I believe what my
Yeah.
Anarch friend is trying to say is that he was originally from LA, and he's decided to make it part of his aesthetic to retain his cultural lingo.
Well,
Shit, Morty, you should fucking be a translator or something, not a fucking writer. Yo,
Is there a difference?
nah, not really, hombre, but you can't go around, you know, translating like my fucking speech to all these fucking gansos out there, yo.
Well, miscommunication is one of the major reasons why our kindred can be a bit rough sometimes. Words are power, after all.
not just kindred. I got myself a pretty good slap on my way here. So I saw some dame. She was showing off her gams, and she was talking real funny to this other dame. Asked her if she was queer for cats. She didn't know what I was talking about.
Ah, yes, I can see what happened here.
Again, could we get a translation on that one?
Yeah.
I believe he asked her if she had a particular interest in fine gentlemen like himself, or that if she were a person who was,
Yeah, you know, queer for cats.
yeah, somebody who was willing to sell their services to fine gentlemen. The word queer has had many renditions over the years.
Oh,
Holy fucking shit, man! You went up to some fucking hoto and just asked them if you were some fucking puta?
Yeah,
I don't know what you said.
He's asking if you asked if she was a hooker.
Oh, no. She just, I was talking to her, and she didn't show too much interest, so I thought maybe she was queer for cats. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay. Then that is...
Oh, so
Yeah,
you
not
meant
perfect.
whether she was not interested in your gender.
Yeah, you know, she don't like
Ah.
fellas, maybe she's queer for cats. I don't...
Ah, never mind. Then you were using the word queer correctly. It's just the word cats that I got confused about. Wow, this
What
is
does that
an
have to do
interesting
with
exercise.
cats?
Cats. It's
Bill.
a term for females. Feisty misses.
Dear, I thought cat was a term for. Wow. What about what? But cool cat. That would be a guy.
Well, remember, cool cat is a term that happened a lot later in history, around,
right.
I'd say, the jazz era.
Well, that's not that much later, is it?
Well, it is later, though. Remember, even
Sure.
within the last couple of years, terminology changes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
It
you can
does.
tell me that again. I'm hearing words I've never even seen before.
Now, was it Joshua, right?
That's right.
Yeah, okay, Joshua. You like as you were in like wars and shit like that. You like guns and stuff.
Well, I don't think anybody really likes a war if they've ever been in one, but yeah, I know how to handle myself.
You know anything about guns?
Oh yeah. I was a pretty good marksman, and in fact, I was just about to be promoted to sergeant, so I could lead some of the men from the trenches.
Cool. Yeah. Well, you know, and it rustles to his big leather jacket is having on him, and takes up a card. You know, if you wanna, hang out and like shoot some fucking guns and stuff like that, you can go by my gun range, yo. I'll fucking hook you up with some nice pistola.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good way to spend an evening.
You'll be quite impressed with how guns have evolved.
Yeah. And Javier kind of goes back for his backlining and pulls up a Glock 18, puts it on the table.
Joshua is gonna slide it over, kind of start looking at it.
I'm going to roll dexterity subterfuge, just because I'm going to try to be cool about this for once, instead of just slamming a gun on the table. That seems so boring. All the dice. That is so nice. And a short moment later, a small, very compact gun will have appeared from pretty much nowhere in Duncan's hand, and they've also gotten quite a bit smaller. And he'll like put it on the table, and there'll have been next to no motion to kind of warn you that all of a sudden he has a gun. He'll pretty much just have been sitting there.
Whoa!
Josh was gonna kind of flash his eyes at him. Boy, you're a real smooth operator.
Dude.
One has to be.
Duncan, I cannot stress enough, I am the Toreador Harpy. You've got to think before you do stuff like this.
He'll send Mortimer his most charming grin. Well, it's not often you get to surprise a newcomer with your gun.
Yes, and it's not very often that I have to report people who carry concealed firearms to the sheriff.
Concealed firearms, as far as I know, not illegal in the States.
Wait, you can't carry weapons in the city?
Sure you can, you just need a permit for it now.
Yes, and...
He'll put it back.
And do you have a permit for it, Mr. Abrahams?
But of course I do. Why else would I carry a gun?
Check and see if you're lying.
Problem is, I'm not sure, so I'm not sure whether I'm lying or not, so that's a bit of a problem. So I'll just assume I am, so I'll roll against you.
Alright, this is again perception plus empathy?
Yeah, that's a lot of successes. Oh, whoops. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 successes.
Alright, and difficulty...
7. Well,
7?
6. I think it's 6. 6 when you roll like this.
And that you have totally lied to him. He's like, alright.
It doesn't matter, I had more successes than you had dice.
Oh, I know. And that's what I'm saying. He's just like, oh, alright then. Just make sure you tell me before you do stuff like that.
But then again, that takes away all the good surprise.
Well, I understand that, but sometimes it's better to make sure that you do not get blacklisted and have the good surprise. Come on, man. I'm trying to look out for you. We're family here. All of us.
Now, Mortimer, he'll kind of put his gun away. This time, like, a bit more clear. He'll put it in an ankle holster. It's a fairly small gun. Now, Mortimer, you've got your art, and I've got mine, and I don't get to show off mine as often as you do yours.
Huh. That actually is a very interesting question. What is your passions?
Well, one could say that my passion as yours is words, but it's not quite just that. He'll lean in and smile. Now, my passion... Well, my passion is not the same quite as my art. My art, however, is making people think that I'm trustworthy, think that following what I say is a very good idea, and then leaving extremely quickly and getting something from them on the way.
Ah.
So you're a politician?
No, not quite. Not quite, but I see your
I
point.
like
could
Mr.
have been.
Smith he'll sort of give you a little elbow punch.
No, it depends a bit on where you come from, but most would call me a con artist.
I would say that's about the same difference.
I get paid better.
Nah.
And I don't have to deal as much with the press.
Well, as a con artist, what exactly is it with conning in your current state, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, in my kind of state, there are things I need. Things you need as well. Money is never bad. You can always use more of that. It's always, and, well, one has to eat. That does require either a fast foot and strength of arm, or perhaps the right word and a nice smile, and feeding can become, or feasting, I guess I should say, can become a bit less dreary and perhaps also a bit easier. There's a lot of things one can get with the skills that I've acquired. It's just how you apply them.
I'm gonna have to make sure I keep a close eye on you, Mr. Abrahams.
Oh, now, one would not steal from one's family, would one? Once again, it will be with a very charming smile. Now, fellas, other than getting the new guy situated, I think we might need to consider if he's supposed to end up in with one of those pesky tasks that some of the rest of us has gotten. He'll kind of glance at Javier and just like give him the look of, don't you mind?
No,
Mortimer will just sort of look tentatively, sort of hiding the fact that he too has a task, but yet Duncan doesn't know about it.
Oh, Duncan does actually know about it.
No, it doesn't. But did you hear from Megan Miltland or Mr. Crown?
No. But he assumes that, or rather he thinks that you're in the coterie of, what's his name? Carlos, for some reason.
Oh, that's interesting then. Oh,
Yeah.
well, even better.
Nah, you know, I'm just not getting like any fine stuff to do around here. I'm just going around killing Sabbat, like cleaning up the city, shit like that.
Well,
You know, if I didn't know any better, Mr. Rojas, I'd say that you'd make an excellent hound representing the Anarchs.
I don't think
Or I'd make an excellent fucking sweeper.
a sweeper.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like a guy who goes around the fucking rack and looks for fucking guys who's fucking around too much.
Huh.
Not sure if we have a position like that, but it certainly wouldn't hurt to check.
It's like Anarch titles and shit like that.
Oh, well, I say very well that you might very well become a sweeper, especially if the treaty ends up going to fruition. In that case, the Anarchs will have their own territory. You could be the sweeper for your own domain.
I'm going to, well, Duncan's going to lead forward the treaty. What kind of a treaty are they
Oh, that's right.
drawing up?
Oh, this will be of interest to you, Mr. Abrahams, Mr. Smith. Stan's Hope right now is in negotiations and has a rough draft with the current leader of the Anarchs, I believe, a Mr. Teflon Gary Walsh. The idea behind it is that a trust has been created that each of the clans will pay a dividends into, and that trust will be used by the Camarilla and the Anarchs in order to invest into businesses in order to gentrify the city. But the byproduct of that is that the Anarchs will be given their own domain, in which they will have their own rules and their own customs that must be observed, so long as they do not violate any of the prince's customs.
basically we're gonna get a fucking barony.
Oh, so you'll finally get that guy you trust and who you believe will look out for you no matter what, huh, Javier? Who'll be your Baron then?
Yeah, something
Will
like that.
will you have any say in that?
Who's the fucking Baron?
Yeah, who'll be the Baron?
Yeah, we have some thoughts, Joe.
I believe it's set up that the Baron would essentially be on the same level as any of the Primogen Council, except he will have complete control over the domain, much like how the Primogens are able to dictate the rules within their own, so long as it does not endanger or break any of the prince's traditions.
No offense, Mr. Javier, but what I'm hearing here, I don't know if that would ever fly in Europe. The Anarchs must really have a foothold in this city.
I believe, allow me to explain, the idea was written up by the current master of Harpies and the prince. One of the cornerstone rules of the Camarilla is that the prince's word is law within his own domain. And so this is a grand experiment on behalf of our prince. He is going to attempt to expand and to better the Treaty of Thorns with this grand experiment for the Anarchs, so long as it is within and only within his domain, since it is his right. It was either that, or to let the situation deteriorate even further. You see, before the Prince Stanhope's rise to power, the Anarchs and the Camarilla have slowly deteriorated in relations with one another.
Basically, the Camarilla didn't do shit within the city. We did all the shit, and now, like, oh, we have the Camarilla, and basically the prince is going around showing his fucking teeth.
Well, far be it from me, but that kind of sounds like a sign of weakness.
The Camarilla was not as strong as it was before. That is the beauty of Prince Stanhope's current rule. He has created a resurgence for the Camarilla within the city, and right now it is growing stronger by the night.
Well, that's mighty. That's mighty comforting to hear.
Yes, soon the Anarchs and the Camarilla will once again be on the same side to reinforce the masquerade and to benefit the Camarilla and to all vampires who are within this domain.
And when do they expect to have this treaty signed and done?
If I'm not mistaken, it is on a trial run at the moment. I will have to talk it over again or overlook the document itself, but I believe there is a month of trial period.
Well, I guess that's a good way to see whether it fits everyone, though I suspect it might have to more than it's a question. I have taken the lay of the land correctly.
Exactly. The Camarilla must adapt and grow strong again if it is to survive at all, especially with the recent debacle with the Giovanni.
Debacle?
Debacle?
Oh my, were you not at the Elysium last time, Mr. Abrahams?
No, I was not. He'll kind of shake his head, otherwise preoccupied.
Oh, well that is alright. I did not hear about it until later too, because I was preoccupied entertaining some of the guests to this very establishment. You see, the Giovanni did not like the idea of this treaty, or at least this is what I am guessing. They did not like the idea of paying a tithe. And so they have severed ties with the Camarilla for the city, and no kindred is to go within 100 feet, or 100 yards, I can't remember the exact amount, but they're to stay away and not associate with the Giovanni, or else risk damage to their station.
Now, basically, Stansoap did break some fucking promises that the Camarilla did to the fucking Giovanni.
But now I believe that the Camarilla does not make promises. The prince makes promises, and it's
No.
not.
This is like 1500 stuff, like, you know. Basically, I think, as I know it, it's a fucking treaty between, like the Convention of Thorns and shit like that. It's called the Promise. It's basically said that Camarilla don't involve themselves in Giovanni business, and Giovanni don't give a fuck about Camarilla business. Now, Stansoap going around saying you should pay a tithe, like a fucking tax to me for just being a city, that's still fucking Giovanni business.
You must understand, though, that this fund would have also been a benefit to Clan Giovanni as well, if I read it correctly. All those who deposit money into it would be able to use the trust fund in order to gentrify their industries.
Now, Morty, the Giovanni don't fucking need no fucking money, dude.
That is true, but take this into consideration, too. The existence of the trust fund is a sign of the bond that is forming between the Anarchs and the Camarilla. If the Giovanni are against that, do you not think it strange or too far-fetched that they are against the idea of the Anarchs and the Camarilla joining forces, as if that would threaten their city?
They don't give a fuck about the fucking tithe because they don't give a fuck. They haven't given a fuck since their fucking clan creation.
Oh, Mr. Javier, there's always a reason why somebody does something. It does not make sense that they simply just would not care. They're the Giovanni. They have, like you said, influence everywhere within the city. My theory is that they are threatened by what this treaty represents, and that is why they have severed ties with the Camarilla.
No, it's not that, Joe. It's not that.
That's my theory, at least.
Oh, well, your theory is fucking wrong.
Mr. Javier, I know I'm new on the scene, but some things are just kind of universals. I'm thinking maybe the Giovanni don't want this because they tend to be making a profit on all the chaos that's been going on in the city. Sounds like stability is the last thing that they want.
Well, don't fucking get a fucking Camarilla city then. And he smiles wickedly.
As Mortimer will look to Mr. Smith and say, "You have a good eye, Mr. Smith."
Now, the way I've understood it, the Giovanni are, if not like the Mafia, much like the Mafia. And, well, when the Mafia had a strong influence, it was obviously because they had a place. This started out with running alcohol. Now, when something's not allowed somewhere, someone will want what's not allowed. That's how it always is. Still is, always will be. Now, I'm not sure whether Giovanni fit in, but something tells me that they would be operating then within what is not allowed. And going into a convention or a treaty with the people who essentially are, well, if not the law, at least what is considered the authority, well, that obviously changes their nature. From what I've heard, that's not something any of our kind are too good at.
Now, the thing is, you people need to understand is there's a 500, like maybe fucking even more than that, old rule within the Camarilla and within the Giovanni. It's called like the fucking promise or something like that. Now, basically, the promise says the Camarilla don't do anything with the Giovanni.
That is actually incorrect, Mr. Javier. The treaty says that the Camarilla is not to interfere with any business with the Giovanni. That is what it says.
It's the same fucking shit. But basically, Stansoap said, fuck that rule, I'm gonna tax them fuckers.
I think you are misunderstanding. Like our friend Duncan here said is that words can be very tricky things. And if the promise says that it is not to interfere with the Giovanni's business, then that is up for interpretation. Would you not agree, Mr. Abrahams?
Very much so. Now, I'm going to roll wits and law, I think. No, wits and finances, because it's finances. That's, oh god, so many dice.
All the dice.
Which means that I actually understand a thing or two, for once. Well, the way I see it, or at least the way I understand it, we aren't interfering with their business, we're simply taxing it. Now, if... I'm not from this country originally. Now, if I was to come over here and work, where would I pay my taxes? I wouldn't pay them back in my home country, I would pay them here, where I earn the money, where I live. Now, it seems to me that the Giovanni lives and operates within a city that is a Camarilla city. Now, if they were operating in Boston, I don't know. But this is a Camarilla city, I know that. Now, since they are operating within a Camarilla city, they've broken the promise as well, because that is interfering. Now, let's not call it that, because that is, as Mortimer here says, an interpretation. I could interpret that one way, and someone else could interpret it differently. Now, the way I see it, making them pay a tax for being in a city that they shouldn't be in is not unreasonable to ask. That's not interfering with their business, that is taxing it, and I don't see how that breaks any promises.
Javier's just gonna sigh and just you know, I'm just gonna fucking let this go. I don't really fucking care. I'm an anarch. What the fuck do I care about the Camarilla business?
Mr. Smith's actually going to look at Javier and be like, you might be wiser than us all. Sounds like a lot of politics to me.
Sounds like a fucking piece of bullshit. I fucking hate politics.
To each their own. We all have our passions.
I just wanna, you know, I just want to, you know, have somewhere to put up my feet, somewhere to, you know, buy some weed, somewhere to, like, watch fucking Adventure Time with my ghoul, and somewhere to fucking play some gigs. Now that's what I wanna fucking do. People making that hella fucking hard this time.
Weird. I don't see how that would be difficult at all. I could probably get some weed and go home. I don't have a ghoul to watch Adventure Time with me, and nor do I know where to watch Adventure Time, but that's separate. I'm fairly sure I could go home, put up my feet, and watch whatever the fuck I wanted, smoking whatever the hell I'd like, without much of a problem here.
I know this might not be a big thing, but this Adventure Time, is this some sort of play?
I haven't the foggiest.
Here,
No.
it's...
No, let me show him. And Javier pulls up his mobile phone and, you know, he starts to tap away at it, and basically goes into YouTube and shows you some clips of the Adventure Time. Well, this silly show with this silly dog and this silly person going around doing silly things.
Mortimer will try and give it context by saying that it's started as a television show, but with the advancement in technology, it can be accessed via mobile phones as well now.
Mr. Smith's gonna have his eyes just wide as saucers and be like, one, I don't know what the hell television is, and two, this is animation that's moving.
Yeah, it's television is
He's actually gonna take Javier's phone and start to turn around in his hands. How the hell does it all fit in here?
That is going to be a discussion for another time, my friend.
I think it might best be explained as radio, but with picture.
Huh, I knew Marconi was working on something like that.
Who?
Marconi? Radio guy?
Yep.
Huh.
No,
Nah.
he's correct. It's a long in history with the invention of television. I would suggest you might look it up. Information is incredibly easy to find nowadays, thanks to the recent advancements in technology.
Yeah.
We can go more into this later, though, as he looks at his phone himself and sees that it is starting to get late and he has much work to do, realizing now that in the discussion they've all had, he had completely forgotten about the waking doom that has been unleashed last night, and sort of smiles and says, I think I am going to have to call it an evening, gentlemen.
Duncan will nod at Mortimer. Well, it was a pleasure to talk. I think I will go and grab me a bite.
And you have my phone number, Mr. Smith, but here is an address where you can meet the prince, as he'll give that to you as well. I do warn you that the streets are a little weird here in New Sarum. It took me a while to get a hang of it myself. But if you're in doubt, just hail a taxi and they'll know where to go, if you show them the address.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Mortimer. One question. How do I get one of these telephones?
No, wait. Javier goes into his pocket and pulls out an old brick, like an old Nokia or something like that, and gives him.
You're going to give him a burner?
He's going to look at you guys like you're talking in Martian. You just take it.
It is a phone.
Oh, I guess it is. Theoretically.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a place to stay at the moment, Mr. Smith?
Actually, no, I don't. So I'd be much obliged if you could point me in the right direction.
Well, I'm currently staying at a cheap motel located in the New Amsterdam district called the Lord and the Lady. I could show you where it is. It's not a good hotel by the large extent of the word, but it is some place to rest your head for the day.
Well, that's a might improvement. Last I knew, I was resting my head on the side of a trench, so I suppose even the worst hotel is going to be a marked improvement.
Oh, yes, it is. Also, it has a really bitchin' pool, too.
Well, maybe one should drop by.
Yes. Rest your head, but stay for the pool.
Oh.
All right.
No, I have no intention of staying. I thought I'd just drop by for the pool.
Well, anywho, I must be off. Would you care to share a cab, Mr. Smith?
I believe I'll take you up on that offer, Mr. Mortimer.
All right, then. Good evening, gentlemen. As he'll get up.
He'll get up and follow and go out with the two others and kind of nod in Javier's direction and like see around, but nothing, no big fancy goodbye to the Anarch because, well.
Yeah, he is the black sheep.
Yeah, and as we all leave, he kind of shouts, "Hey, see you around, Morty. See you around, Donkey. See you around, Joshy."
Well, you mustn't see her around.
As the three gets outside, Duncan will walk the short distance to his rather nice sports car and kind of, wave at the others and drive away.
Joshua's going to be pretty much transfixed with just about everything he's looking at, because, well, to him, this is all the future.
And Mortimer is going to hail a taxi, upon which the two of them will get in. He'll give the address to the driver, and they'll drive off. And in this little respite that he's had from the turmoil of the events at the asylum, he'll finally decide on exactly how he's going to write his letter, and then sends out a text message to the other person he'll need in order to get his desired results. And as the taxi drives off into the night, that is where our scene will end.